Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
And with the 5 Live News, good morning, I'm Dan Brennan. As we've been hearing, a global report on the health impact of climate change says the well-being of people worldwide is at the mercy of an addiction to fossil fuel. The annual review in The Lancet says global warming is increasingly affecting the foundations of human health.
Rupert Read.
Hello there.
Hello, Rupert. How are you?
Well, I'm doing okay. It would be wonderful, though, to have a little bit more light than heat into the conversation. So I wonder if I might be able to bring a little of that. So I teach at the University of East Anglia alongside some of the world's leading climate scientists. And I'll tell you, when you get them in private, when you get to have a drink with them or something like that, what they will invariably tell you is that the truth about the situation is, if anything, even worse than what's in their published papers, let alone what's in the IPCC report. And the reason for that is that scientists only publish what they can prove. And what they suspect and what they think we're heading into is actually even worse than what the published science says on balance.
And it's peer-reviewed. The published science is peer-reviewed.
Yeah, and the published science is peer-reviewed, super reliable.
I get frustrated.
That what the IPCC are saying is extremely clear. It's that unless there are rapid, immediate, deep, worldwide cuts in emissions, I'm just quoting from one of the recent reports for which I was an expert reviewer, then there is no chance that we can attain our climate goals of staying below 1.5 degrees of average global temperature increase, which is the proxy for climate safety. So a quick translation of that. There is no chance that we can achieve our climate goals because there are tragically not going to be rapid, deep, immediate worldwide cuts. So what we need to do here is damage limit in a situation which is extremely serious, and where you remember back in COP26, the then Prime Minister Boris Johnson, is a long time ago now, isn't it, said to us, it's 1 minute to midnight. Well, I'm afraid it's not 1 minute to midnight anymore. It's 5 past midnight. And that's just the truth about the situation. And that's where we need to start. In everything we do, we need to start with the truth, and then we need to respond accordingly. And those people who don't like Just Stop Oil's tactics, well, that's just fine. But what you need to do is you need to do something else that is positive and that is real and that is effective. And that's what I'm trying to build, by the way. I'm the director of a new initiative called the Moderate Flank Incubator. And we're saying to all people out there who feel themselves to be moderates, look, get involved. Start making positive change where you work. Start making positive change in your community, because this is a crisis where we need all hands on deck. And if we don't get them, the future looks very grim.
Thank you for that, Rupert. And what you say, we don't have to have balance on this topic on the BBC. It's like evolution. Yeah. I mean, the science is absolutely clear. So the days of me not being able to say you're talking baloney are over. But listen, so Just Stop Oil, if what you say is right, getting back to the kind of core discussion, because we're not discussing the rights and wrongs and the validity of man-made climate change, that debate is over. But Just Stop Oil, right, if what you say is right, surely you must support the hurling of tomato soup over sunflowers, Vincent van Gogh's sunflowers. You must support the stuff that they've been doing on the Dartford tunnel. You must support all the... What else did they do? Yeah, they caked the King's Waxwork Dummy. You must support the spraying of orange paint over 55 Tufton Street, the headquarters of the Global Warming Policy Foundation, because it's because of all that we're talking about this, and it's because of all that Fiona Atkinson from Just Stop Oil is on the programme. So you must support it.
Well, one point about how the media operates here, if I may, which is that it's a little bit unfortunate that the media's attention tends to be only drawn to this when there are visible, sort of high-profile actions. I think it'd be wonderful if the media's interest in this was far more constant. Let me give you a little analogy. In the Second World War, we didn't kind of wait for people to make kind of outrageous statements or whatever to keep focused on the crisis. Every single day, day in, day out, the headlines in the newspapers were about what was happening in the war. Well, that's how it ought to be now. And with all due respect to the BBC, and you're doing a much better job than you were before, you're not giving credence to climate change denial, etc.
I never did.
But what you ought to be doing
I
actually
never did.
profiling the issue every single day, every day, and getting people like me on and scientists on and so forth, as well as Just Stop Oil people every single day. And then I think what we would have is it would feel much easier for moderate-minded people to get involved who are not necessarily turned on by the Just Stop Oil way of proceeding. You see, what I think is that the most important thing that we really need now is we need positive action. We need people to follow up on what the radical flank, people like Just Stop Oil and Extinction Rebellion, have successfully drawn attention to.
I want to bring in the calm voice of Rupert Read. Fiona, go.
The demand is, well, I think I'm pretty calm, actually, Nicky.
Oh, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. Rupert's portraying himself as the... Go on.
Yeah, our demand is no new oil, that we've got 8 years' worth of reserves in gas and oil. We can manage a calm transition to renewables. And to go back to the point earlier on, that we don't care about jobs and that we don't care about poverty in this country and we don't care about workers. Renewables are the only way forward. Opening up new coal mines or getting further involved in oil and gas fields, that's a highway to nothing. Those are dead-end jobs.
Should people be flying?
What we're looking for, can I just answer it? What
Sure.
we're looking for is real investment in jobs, real jobs that will last in the renewable industry, in solar panels. I'm having solar panels put on my house this week, and I couldn't find anybody to fit them.
Will you ever fly again? Will you ever fly, Fiona? Will you ever?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I haven't flown for years, but I do not know what this means. If you found out I flew, would it stop
No. I'm just worried about. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm just asking questions of people asking because I'm reading the text and I think
Okay, but surely we need to deflect people to the most
people be
important.
flying?
You can't have any alternative
Wait. Should people be flying?
There are aspects of our life we all need to change, and we need to fly less or not at all.
Rupert Read.
Yes. So firstly, may I just very briefly respond to one of Mark's many sort of wild accusations and say that
Hold on a second.
I'm fully let me speak. Let me speak, sir. Let me speak. No, let me speak. You were imputing that there might be some funding from the Chinese state to University of East Anglia, which is obviously a quite ludicrous. It's a ludicrous thing to say. If you knew anything at all about the way the academic system works, you would understand that was a ludicrous thing.
Everybody.
No, I was asking.
Everybody.
Nicky,
Rupert, I'm going to tee you up. I'm just going to say, everybody be quiet. Fiona, I did not mean that you weren't being calm. It's just quite a kind of furious argument going on.
Unfortunately,
when Rupert
Nicky,
talks, he is an environmental guy. He's a professor. He's got an ology. He's got an ology, right? And that's why it's good hearing from Rupert. And now we will hear from Rupert, and Rupert will be uninterrupted for the next minute and a half.
Thanks very much, Nicky. So the University of East Anglia is an academic institution. It is, of course, not bought out by foreign governments. And I got to tell you that when you talk to scientists, climate scientists, ecologists about what's happening, they are scared. They are scared for their children. They are scared for the future. They are really sad. They are sad about what's happening to our planet. And I would urge us all to listen to the voices of those who we can trust most on this issue. People like them, people like David Attenborough and so on. If you've listened to anything that David Attenborough said in the last few years, where he's applauded protesters, for example, then you'll know that what we need to do is everything that is in our power on this most vital of issues. This is the only question that children, our children, grandchildren, and nieces and nephews, I don't have children myself, but all of us have young people who we care about in our lives, I hope. Yeah. And the only question they're going to care about when they come to talk to us in 10 or 20 or 30 years' time again, when they're growing up, is what did you do when there was time to really make a difference? And we need to ask ourselves that question now. What am I doing? Am I doing enough? Or am I going to feel regret later in life that I didn't really act with the fullness of my power now?
Okay, thank you.